Welcome back to the Connected Health Podcast, where we explore sustainable and holistic ways to take your health into your own hands. I'm your host, Vanessa Cohn, integrative health coach and creator of the Radiant Woman Reset. On this show, I teach you how to feel better in your body, support your hormones, and take charge of your health naturally. Let's dive in. I feel that we've talked a lot more about mindset in past episodes, especially when it comes to the emotional component, inner thoughts and beliefs that we have, the parts inside of us that help drive the decisions that we make. So I'm actually going to move on to the next part of the foundational habits, which is nutrition. Here's the thing. We all know what we should eat, but we still struggle. We all know that fruits and vegetables and whole foods are good for us. Yet we still find ourselves in the drive-thru line at the fast food places. We make poor decisions and eat an entire bag of chips in one sitting. And we all know that vegetables are healthy, but we don't prioritize them. Why? There are several reasons to this, but one of the main reasons is burnout from diet culture. Maybe we're trying to cope with some emotion that we don't want to face. It's convenient to go in a drive-thru line instead of go home and cook a meal from scratch. Maybe we're misinformed on the actual health value of some of these foods. Maybe we're confused about what foods are actually considered health foods and what are not. Personally, before I fully learned how to handle nutrition for my body and teach nutrition to other people, I've been on so many diets. I had tried almost every diet you could ever think of. I think the first one I tried was just restriction in general, restricting food, cutting out all sugar, the South Beach diet, the Atkins diet, Whole30, vegan, vegetarian, paleo, keto, the military diet. I've tried it all. I promise you. And each one continued to fail me one after the other until the final straw. I was on the keto diet, which looked promising from all the research I had done. That was my final straw because after the keto diet, I had gained 25 pounds and was the heaviest I'd ever been in my entire life. When it comes to diets, the best diet is not one particular brand. It is one that you can stick to. And in fact, I don't even like the word diet. I prefer the word nutrition. Diet has negative connotations. Nutrition is open and positive and encompasses what you choose to fuel your body with so that you can be your best and healthiest self. Honestly, real health doesn't come from extremes, and I learned that the hard way time after time after time, but it comes from these foundational habits that I'm going to teach you in this episode consistently. After the last diet that I was going to try, the keto diet, I had gained quite a bit of weight. I was fluffy. I was inflamed. My face was round. My clothes didn't fit anymore, and I was miserable. And along with trying the keto diet and that whole situation in retrospect, I was already a certified personal trainer. I was an elementary school teacher, and I was go, busy all the time, wasn't sleeping, and was using low-carb foods like avocados and bacon and lunch meat to fuel my body, thinking that that would help me lose weight. But it didn't. The big parts that I was missing was lifestyle. After I left those stressful jobs and stressful situations and had a period of grief after losing a family member, I decided to take my health back into my own hands after I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and take a nutrition coaching certification through the Precision Nutrition Academy. And that's where it really shifted for me. And I'm going to teach you the foundations that you need to start. Remember from the last episode, start where you can. And once you get those habits nailed down, you can start to add more and diversify in what your personal foundational habits are. What is real nutrition? Most nutrition coaches that you might see online always talk about macronutrients, but that's not what it's about entirely. That's part of the story, but it's not the full picture. Nutrition is nourishment. Whole foods give us things like macronutrients that you hear about. Those are going to be your protein, your fats, and your carbs. But there's also a very important component, which is fiber. You also need micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytochemicals. All of those things come from whole foods. You're going to find that processed foods have very little to none of those things that I just listed. And that's why it's generally recommended to avoid those foods. They're empty, and they actually might even rob you of the nutrients that you do have because they can create inflammation in your body, and that takes up resources for your body to fight the inflammation. Some foods, if you have a sensitivity and you eat them repeatedly, cause damage to your intestinal linings and your detoxification organs. Many of us grew up learning the food pyramid as the best form of nutrition. And at the bottom foundation of the pyramid is your breads and starches and carbohydrates. What we've learned years later is that that should not be the foundation of your diet because it can lead to things like weight gain, insulin resistance, and so on and so forth. What's accepted nowadays is called My Plate, and it's a nutrition coach in modern times who trained with the latest research through both Precision Nutrition and the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. I would recommend something very similar to My Plate. So the current My Plate model is broken up into quadrants on your plate. A quarter would be fruits, a quarter would be vegetables, a quarter would be grains, and a quarter would be protein. And then it's got almost like a cup, which would be your dairy, like a glass of dairy. And I disagree with that particular breakdown. And here's the breakdown that I prefer to teach my clients because it is more beneficial for you and so on. Personally, for my clients, I would recommend a very similar breakdown with just one tweak. So the My Plate model has a quarter of the plate fruits and a quarter of the plate vegetables. I would actually take that whole 50% side of the plate and do a blend of mostly vegetables and some fruits. So maybe break down half of the plate to be 2/3 vegetables and 1/3 fruit. 25% healthy grains, 25% form of protein. I love that. We'll keep that there. Fats have a place usually used in cooking of the protein. As for the dairy recommendations, some people are not recommended to have dairy because of sensitivities or gut inflammation. That can actually be healed for a majority of people, but I wouldn't make it an entire food group on its own that you absolutely need to have. The food pyramid overall is outdated. It is influenced by lobbyists from mega food corporations. For example, General Mills, they make a lot of grain products and cereals, and of course they have a monetary vested interest in what the government puts out as recommended dietary guidelines to help them sell more food. We should talk about the food label. Here are some foundational habits of nutrition that I want people to have every single day. Start with one of these. As you nail it down, you can add on more and more and more. But these are the foundational habits around nutrition that I think everybody should adopt. Nutrition is key because it provides you with opportunities to fuel your body with the nutrients that it needs, overall encompassing macronutrients, micronutrients, fiber, minerals, vitamins, phytochemicals, and antioxidants. Those are parts of food when food breaks down in your body to actually help your body do what it does best. Think about it. If you fuel your body with foods that don't have a lot of those things, your body is not going to be equipped to perform at its best. Calories are calories, but it does matter what the calories are made up of. Are they made up of nutrient-dense or nutrient-rich substance? Or is it just a 800-calorie donut? Or is it just a 400-calorie chocolate chip cookie that doesn't bring a lot of nutrient value into your system? I want to go into foundational habits of nourishing your body. And these are ones that everybody can start with no matter where they are in life. Foundational habit number 1, start with 3 meals a day consistently. You would be surprised at the amount of nutrition clients that come to me who are barely eating, or they eat one small thing for breakfast as they're rushing out the door, skip lunch because they're too busy, and then end up eating a 1,200 to 1,500 calorie meal right before bed. That is not sustainable. That is not how we appropriately fuel our bodies. And that is only 2 meals a day. So start with 3 meals a day as the most basic foundational habit that you integrate into your life for proper nutrition. This is going to give you consistent energy throughout the day. If your body has fuel coming in and can anticipate fuel coming in, it's going to use that fuel as you move about your day and store less of it as stored energy in your body. It also helps to balance your blood sugar. If you eat a little bit, but then you don't eat for a long time, your blood sugar will actually tank, which will give you all of these cravings for the sweets and the saltiness, and you end up snacking and putting on pounds that way. Eating consistently 3 meals a day is going to eliminate that problem. Foundational habit number 2. As a part of those 3 meals, this is a habit that builds on the last one. You want to include 30 grams of protein with each of those meals. What this is going to do is give you about 90 grams of protein per day. Most people actually don't even get that much. When clients come to me for nutrition or health coaching and they log their food for a few days, we're all surprised to find out that they're maybe getting 40 grams of protein per day, which is definitely not enough for your body. 90 isn't either, but everybody has to start somewhere. Once you hit 90 grams or 30-ish grams per meal, you can build upon that. This will help satiate you if your meals are packed with protein. That'll help you feel fuller for longer and give you nutrients to sustain your energy, give you building blocks for whatever your body is building and repairing, and it helps support muscle growth and hormone production. Protein does not cause you to gain massive muscle, especially women. They're afraid of consuming too much protein because of that. That's impossible. You're not going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger ever. That's not within your biology. With those 3 meals a day, you want to build a balanced plate. This is our next foundational nutrition habit. A balanced plate is very similar to that My Plate format. I prefer 50% of the plate is full of fibrous vegetables and fruits, different colors. I recommend eating 5 different colors a day. Maybe you have greens and reds for one meal. Maybe you have yellows and oranges for another. Maybe you have some blueberries as a snack. Mix up the colors that you have every single day because each of those colors is actually associated with a set of antioxidants. And we want to make sure that we get as much of a variety from our diet as we can. If 5 each day is too much for you, that's okay. Start with 3. Start with 3 colors and build up on that. Remember, 25% should be a protein-rich food, amounting to about 30 grams of protein. Now, when we talk about grams, I don't mean weight, I mean protein content. We all have our cell phones. We can Google or we can put it in some sort of food blog. How much protein is in, let's say, 3 ounces of chicken? And it'll tell you it's about 25 to 30 grams, so that would be a good amount. 25% of your plate should be healthy carbohydrates. Think potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, fruit, squash, all of these whole foods grown out of the ground or with minimal processing to create so that you can have those nutrients from foods from the earth. And fat is a macronutrient, but a lot of the time we use fat when we're cooking our chicken or our turkey or whatever meat product we have. It's used in the process of cooking that, so that's where that number would come from. But healthy fats can look like nuts, seeds that we use to top our meals, or a handful as a snack. Avocado is a really healthy fat that is also green, but you want to keep that nice, wide variety of foods and colors on your plate. And that's how you build a balanced plate. You want to structure your meals like this 3 times a day with 30 grams of protein to help with metabolism, balancing your blood sugar, giving you consistent energy, and helping you stop those cravings every single day. When you are looking to shop at the grocery store for whatever groceries you're going to buy to help build these healthy plates, I want you to think about food as food in different categories. People will try to assign a morality to food, good foods, meaning fruits, vegetables, anything that grows from the ground, and bad foods like pizza, donuts, hamburgers. When food is food, it's neutral. It doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have a body. Therefore, it cannot have a morality. It is not inherently good or bad. And the way that I like to view it is every food is on a spectrum from better for you to worse for you. If you think about it, each food that you consume will either be beneficial for your health or be harmful for your health. And that's how I want you to look at food. Instead of a good or a bad, which can assign guilt if it's more of a bad thing, I want you to think of a food bringing you closer to your goals or farther away from your goals. To help you with that, I have a resource from Precision Nutrition that is the red, yellow, and green light list of foods. It outlines foods for those of us who are very visual into categories. Green meaning beneficial for your health. Eat as much of these as you would like. Yellow, eat these in moderation. And red, you generally want to avoid these, especially if you're on a health plan. Now, overall, if you know me at all, I love donuts. They're very exciting, fun, tasty foods for me. But I know that they're in that red category. If they're in the red category, does that mean I can never eat one ever again? Absolutely not. You get to decide the parameters that you live your life. If you want to designate once a week where you have a treat that is in the red category, that's okay. If you want to save it for special occasions, that's okay. If you and your coach decide that you need to avoid that for a period of time, that's also okay. You have the decision to do that. So if you want that resource, the green light food list, yellow and red, you can look at that resource on the Precision Nutrition website, or you can reach out to me directly on Instagram, Facebook, or email, and I can send it to you as well. It's a really great PDF resource that you can print out and take with you to the grocery store to help you identify green, yellow, and red light foods. The next foundational habit that I want you guys to have is nutrient timing. This is slightly advanced, but it is pretty important. And when you start to incorporate it, it's actually more simple than you think. Meal timing affects how you feel. So I recommend eating every 3 to 4 hours to help keep your blood sugar stable and your cravings at bay. It also can prevent energy crashes and mood swings. Let's say you eat breakfast at 7 a.m. 3 to 4 hours later, it's about 10 or 11, you can have your next meal at that time. 3 to 4 hours later, 2 to 3 p.m., you might have a snack that's also balanced. And then 6 or 7 p.m., it's dinner time. If you break down your meals or snacks every 3 to 4 hours, that's how we stabilize the blood sugar and keep your energy levels consistent throughout the day. No more energy crashes, no more afternoon slumps if you maintain a balanced blood sugar. Let's talk briefly about fasting. I'll probably do an entirely separate episode about this topic, but in general, I don't believe fasting is for everybody all the time. It depends. Everything is nuanced that I recommend, which is why I like to speak to my clients individually and figure out their situations to see if a certain pattern of eating or strategy is good for them. I'm a huge fan of what's called an overnight fast. So this is the time that you're not eating while you're asleep. Between, let's say, 8 p.m. and 8 a.m., that's a 12-hour window where you're most likely resting and not eating. This gives your body at least 12 hours to finish up digesting what was in your system, helps detoxify what was in your body, and gives your body time for cellular cleanup. The main benefit that people talk about when it comes to fasting is a process called autophagy. During autophagy, your body is getting rid of all of the leftover waste in your cells, detoxifying things, cleaning that up and getting it out. If you put more food in every few hours, that process of autophagy actually stops, and it won't be happening while there's new stuff coming in to your body. So it's about giving your body a break from taking in nutrition and more things to process so that autophagy can take place. Again, I recommend about 12 to 14 hours overnight fasting. Let's say you stop eating at 7 p.m. and you have breakfast at anywhere from 7 to 9 a.m., which gives you 14 hours of not taking in new food. So autophagy can take place, and it can start even to use up some of the fat cells that you have stored to burn as energy while you're not taking in new food. I think most people can achieve the 12 to 14 hour overnight fast because most of the time you're sleeping. All right, those are your foundational habits. When it comes to nutrition, I wanted to give you some more real-life tips that you can start today to work towards those. I tell people to start your day with a smoothie, a protein-rich smoothie. You can start it with a base, which can be milk, non-dairy milk, or water, a scoop of protein powder with 20 to 30 grams of protein. You can dress it up with greens, nuts, chia seeds, frozen or fresh fruit, and make yourself a nice, flavored, healthy protein smoothie. It gives you a balanced meal. You can put all of those different colors in there, and it sustains you until your next snack or meal of the day. Honestly, it's a hack because you blend it all together. You don't really have to cook anything. It takes very minimal prep to create a smoothie that has all of the nutrients that you need to best start your day. When my personal health and nutrition coaching clients add that morning smoothie in, they will report back to me that it actually has made a difference in their energy levels, their cravings are down, and they feel sustained until their next meal. So give that a try. Another tip that you can start the day with is warm water. A glass of warm water every day, or warm lemon water to wake up your digestive system and put some hydration back in your system after being asleep overnight. Other tips that I'll give people for blood sugar balance and having calm and sustainable energy days is to wait to have caffeine until after you've had food. That can help balance your blood sugar and give you sustainable energy throughout the day. And here's a huge tip that I give just about everybody. Create a list of go-to meals with balanced macronutrients. Make a list of your top 5 to 10 breakfast meals, lunch, and dinner meals to keep yourself on track because you know for sure these are balanced meals. These will get me to my goals if I continue to eat them. If you really don't like leftovers or eating the same thing, keep those on a rotation so it's not the same. So you have a lot of variety. I have a free resource that I give to everybody, and it is my 3 steps, and it is my Meal Prep Like a Pro PDF. It tells you exactly how to break down meal prep in 3 easy steps to save you time and save you money as you get yourself in a healthy place. If you want a copy of that PDF, I'm going to include the link in the show notes. You can also reach out to me on any of my social channels for me to send it to you directly. This isn't about being perfect. It is about building a foundation that supports your body long term. These foundational habits are meant to be automatic. Once you start it and start to build that habit, it becomes automatic and you can actually add another step and another step to build upon those foundations. And pretty soon, nutrition becomes natural and you don't have to think too hard about it. It takes time. Be gentle with yourself. But remember, knowledge is power. And what I've taught you today can empower you to make healthier choices tomorrow. Before we close out this episode, I want to leave you with one challenge this week. And that is to start with one of these habits that I listed in this episode this week. Pick the one that feels easiest to implement right now and see how it goes. Thanks for tuning in to the Connected Health Podcast. If this episode was helpful to you, please share it with a friend who's ready to ditch diet culture and feel better in their body with these foundational habits. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Connected Habits Coaching. Come join our free Facebook group, Connected Habits, a community for holistic and sustainable health. And you can reach out to me directly with questions. My email is vanessa@connectedhabits.com. I'll see you in the next episode where we break down another foundational habit. See you next time.